Don't want to be a wage cuck for the rest of my life. What would you guys do if you were starting from scratch? I always like that one where you start off with like I hate the idea of the plan involving a decade of education. It's
Okay.
before we start tipping the debt to income scale back the other way in any meaningful way. And I just really like the idea of going to that trade school and getting a degree in 2 years to get on HVAC or to become like one of those really high paid skills that you could then, you know, lean into your own entrepreneurial endeavor. Like if you're going to be a welder, let's be a welding company. Once we get if you're going to be an HVAC guy, let's be an HVAC company. I don't want to always be a wage.
Before we go too
as
deep,
you put it,
this was a Patreon question. I forget the level. It might be $10.
$10.
We can ask a question and we might use it in the show. And it was, don't want to be a wage cuck for my whole life. What would you guys do if you were starting from scratch? Which Kyle read.
Yeah,
I had the same thing.
Plumber,
HVAC.
electrician, HVAC.
The only
like
thing is, it doesn't quite qualify as what you said because there's still 10 years. It's just not all in school accumulating debt. You know, you have
but it's a whole different scenario, right? Like you can start off making $50,000-$60,000 a year, like way more than the average person. And then the second year, it's just going to be more every year. And the more you want work, the more you get, right? If you're working for some other company, like you could, I don't know. I like that a lot, especially with the HVAC thing. I just always think that like when someone comes to me and I'm hot and sweaty and like, it's like, yep, that'll be $1,000. I'm like, do you take cards or would you just like to take it out of my asshole?
Sure.
Either way.
What's the fastest way to pay you?
Yes, sir. It's like
if the guy doesn't want to be a wage cuck, I wonder what his
charge.
existing skills are. Right? Did you finish school already? Are you currently a computer programmer and you just?
I'm starting him at high school. I'm starting him at 18. Like just gotten out of high school. Like start at nothing.
I'm putting him at 24 and not happy with his current role in life.
Okay.
And it's like, how do you get out of there? I kind of like what Scott did. Scott's Kyle's cousin. He went to community college, became, I'm going to foul this up a little. You go to school and you get your welding certification, but he got like a second one, or like, you know, he got his master's in welding.
I think he keeps going. He does this thing where he like travels and gets like certifications in various specializations and techniques. Like he's like going and getting, if he was a doctor, he's going to like a podiatry clinic. So if anybody needs anything, yeah, I can do that too. So like anytime he has a job, whether they want him, he does this shit where they use a mirror on a stick that's reflecting the back of a pipe. And he's got a special welding tool that lets him like reach around behind and weld backwards through a mirror. And it's like, that's a whole different kind of welding. Like that has nothing to do with knowing what to turn the machine up to and how to like draw a bead. Like he's doing it backwards through a mirror on the backside of a pipe while wearing a gauge that lets him know if he takes too many rads. It's like, it's cool welding.
Sounds scary.
Rad. It sounds like you have to actually be good at this shit. Because I know when he's welding nuclear power plants and they x-ray your welds afterwards to make sure they're good. There's no fucking faking this stuff. Like they really check it out.
I mean, college could be a good advice for this guy. Like, I don't think he said he's in college or not.
He said he didn't want to be a wage cuck. And I feel like,
I mean, like, I think, like,
doesn't college set you up to be a pretty successful wage cuck?
I mean, STEM. More so.
We know the answer is STEM, whether we like it or not. Look, if you're smart enough to be a wage cuck, you're going to have to be an entrepreneur, or you have to go into STEM. Am I wrong there? Or get lucky?
No, you're right.
I think other than that, we're waging on luck.
I'm currently like immersed in this world a little bit because my daughter just finished college and her entire friend group just finished college. So all the different majors are entering the grown-up workforce and they're seeing what's up. And every one of them is like, holy heckin' STEM. You know, that this one gets work at 40 grand, this one's at 35 grand, and this one's at 75 grand. 75 grand. This is your first job out of school and you're making 75,000, 85,000. That's the STEM.
Yeah. Like if you're going to go to college, be smart and get something that's going to get you a degree. Don't go for, English or history or psych or something.
Figure out what you want to do first, right? Like have a career in mind. I like, we've been watching that For All Mankind show. they're all engineers. like there'll be a point somebody will be like, you're all engineers, just do it. And they'll be like, yeah, I guess we are. And they'll start getting fucking chalkboards out and shit, and they'll fabricate a thing from nothing. Like having a skill like that is invaluable over getting like, God, there's so many degrees that are just meaningless, right? That don't really have a career in mind behind them.
For sure.
Or at least not one that's in demand, which is what you want. Ideally, you want to go out and like have 3 options. Hey, they want me in San Diego to engineer something, and they want me in New York too. Man, that would cost a lot, but they are paying $50,000 more a year. You want those kind of options, right? If you're going to be a wage
be in a position where multiple companies are competing for the right to pay you 6 digits, right? That's where you aspire to be.
Yeah. Or get in there and start welding, bitch.
That is that position. You know, I can make $6,000. Or 6 digits,
you absolutely, if you're willing to hustle for it, but then you're going to be the guy who like might go on the other side of the country for 3-4 months at a time, live in a trailer on a job site welding, but you'll make 6 figures in those 4 months.
The toll on your body is going to be hard. Like that's something that never gets talked about with trades. It's like, just crawl around in an HVAC system for 38 years. Like your body's going to get fucked over time.
That's why
you
I
need to
always
think that as like a cost benefit. Like, would you rather be someone who has to blow their body out, doing all of this hard stuff every day, or be a Wagecuck who is like sitting at a desk and then you get to go to the gym or whatever? Like,
also sales is the highest paid position, but you got but
can also be
find out you'll know right away with sales if you're any good at it or not.
Is that true, Kyle, or can't you get better at sales? Can't you
weed the fuck out? It won't matter. You either will or you won't. It doesn't matter if you can or you can't. You will or you won't, and because it'll be over quickly.
Like there's so many like sales,
maybe 3-4 months of someone sitting right next to you and being your buddy and saying, no, you should have asked for the sale. You didn't ask for the sale. Or, oh, you were too aggressive there. We don't ask for the sale when we meet them, buddy. But you've got your sink or swim, right?
Let me ask you this. Let's say we're grading salesmen on 1 to 10. Could it be you just need to hit the ground at a 5? No one's going to start as a 10 probably, right? Very few. You just need to know that you're not a 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have some medium amount of experience in that, and I just noticed that like there were guys who could do it, and there were guys who couldn't. Like you either could or you couldn't. And
what was the characteristic of a guy who couldn't? Was he not bold enough?
Being personable.
I didn't want to be his friend. I didn't want to be that guy's friend. I every now and then I joke around about me as a 19-year-old kind of giving these guys a hard time that were in their 30s and 40s and 50s, and I think the reason I was giving them a hard time is like, I didn't want to be their friend. They were kind of losers. They just didn't seem like cool guys. They say like I remember like they just seemed weird. They weren't friendly. They weren't personable. They weren't guys that you wanted. I didn't care if they liked me. And there were, but some people you can't. You're like, hey, I wish Brad liked me. It'd be kind of cool, right? I mean, he's got a fucking side by side. Just he doesn't have a brother. That could be me. Me and Brad. We could be fucking. God, we'd have our own handshake. I know we would. It could be like that.
I kind of want to be Brad's friend. That sounds
great.
Gee, Kyle's selling you on Brad right now.
I'm buying.
I have some sales experience, and like in seeing people, like you can tell if they're going to be good or not just by how, like, honestly, like conversational. Like if you're a conversationalist and you're good at making people feel comfortable, putting them at ease, like making the stakes seem low, just a normal day, like that kind of thing makes you good at it. Like,
when you're on a date,
you don't want to be Mr. like asking for the sale 3 times before you've even spoken and like gotten to know them at all, because that's off-putting, and that person's not going to buy from you because they feel like you're a predator.
Do you remember how when it was your first day at a new grade or with a new teachers, like for that first week or two before you got to know her, you were real on edge with her. You're like, I don't know how she handles things. She might be fucking strict and scary. I'm going to like mind my P's and Q's. And then after a while, you feel comfortable around her, and you guys, everything's a lot smoother. And the same's true when you're dating a girl, right? Like at first we're sitting on the couch and you're like, whew, if I like make the wrong move, I could offend her, and like there could be a misunderstanding. But then like after maybe we've had sex, or we made out or like goofed around or something, like now it's like, I could flick her on the tit and make a joke out of it right now, and it'd be funny. Like you've the same as
that bridge has been passed. Yeah.
You've got to like break that bubble of like social distance a lot quicker when you're selling something, because we don't have a couple of dates to break it down, and we don't have a couple weeks at school to break down that little barrier between teacher and student. I've got to become your friend, or at least someone that we can have like a normal, loose conversation that's flowy.
Sure.
Now, like in the next 10, 20 minutes, because I gotta get you out of here and get
like you don't have to be like when I said conversationalist, I mean being able to read someone. You don't want to be Mr. Flowery, over the top, talk. Like you should be able. This is what it is. You need to be able to read someone and their intentions and their desires. Like, does that person want to be spoken to, or is that a no nonsense? Don't fucking, hoity-toity talk to me. Just get it done. Or is this someone who maybe it's their first car and they would be more relaxed if they were in a more, gentle atmosphere, and you ask them like a question about themselves. Why do you want this kind of car? Oh, this will be perfect for that. Like, I've never sold cars, but like with sales in any way, you gauge the person first. You're selling yourself. That's trite, but you are in pretty much everything. If someone doesn't like you, they will not buy from you.
Exactly. You're not going to buy for someone, and the slightest offense can turn somebody off.
Yeah, because they're on edge. They're looking for offenses and potential slights of, oh, he revealed these.
I would often pose position myself as an independent kind of guy. Like, look, it's you versus them, and I'm your middleman. But don't worry, I'm with you. And I could sell that.